Welcome back to Buckeye Country Creations. My name is Sonia, and I'm so glad you're here. I love my family. I love to cook. I love to clean. I love to eat what I cook. And I love to visit flea markets and antique shops. And I love to travel this beautiful country of ours. And I love sharing all of my activities with you. So come along with me and join me on my journey at Buckeye Country Creations. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm so glad you stopped by today. If you're a returning viewer, I'm glad to see you. Come on in, grab a drink, have a seat, sit down at my kitchen table, and let's do what we need to do today. Today I've got to tidy up the house, tidy up the kitchen and the living room a little bit, and then we're going to bake some Amish cinnamon bread. I'm going to make a loaf for here at the house, and then I'm going to make a loaf to take to work, and then we're going to make some loaves of sandwich bread. If you like this video, give it a big thumbs up, share it, and if you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing and become my friend. So come on in, sit down, let's go. We're going to start this day off by creating my filming schedule for next week. In regards to my filming schedule for my YouTube channel, my weeks start on Saturday due to the fact that I work a full-time job outside the home. So my filming has to be done on the days that I don't work. So today's video will be the bread video. I will film that today. Sunday will be my thrifting video, and then I work the next 4 days, so next Friday will be the filming of the Clean With Me videos. I try to schedule this, and sometimes I can't always stick to that schedule. We'll see how it goes this week. We'll start the tidying up process in the kitchen. There are only a few dishes that I need to get cleaned up from breakfast this morning. My husband and his brothers are out doing things together, so I have the house to myself today. So it's a really good day to get everything tidied up and get my footage filmed before they all return to the house this evening. So I'm just going to go through the kitchen, get the dishes cleaned up, wipe down the counters, and then we will tidy up the living room and get ready to bake some bread. I'm sure I've mentioned it before, but my large picture window that is over my kitchen sink is one of my favorite features in our home. I can wash the dishes and have the natural sunlight coming in through the window. I can see all of the animals and the rabbits running around in the backyard. I can see the farmers working their fields, getting them ready to plant. So it makes doing dishes not quite so tedious and bad. And again, as I stated in previous videos, it's about finding the joy in everyday tasks and being thankful for having the ability to do those everyday tasks. So I try to make sure that I tell the Lord how thankful I am with all that He has blessed me with. Some people may think I don't have a lot because I live in a manufactured home, but I love our home. I love what we've done with it and what we will continue to do with it. And a house is simply boards and nails put together. A home is what you make of it. That's what you make of the place that you live in. So don't ever let anyone make you feel bad about your home. As long as you are happy and your family is happy and safe and well fed, that's all that matters. Now we're going to move into the living room, and there's not a whole lot to be tidied up in here. Just a few pairs of shoes to pick up, some glasses and napkins to take care of, and a couple of blankets to fold back up. While it did get up in the 80s, the low 80s last week, we had a storm Thursday night and the temperatures dropped again, so it was a little cool last night, and then this morning it was a little chilly, so we were all kind of sitting around with our blankets. So I'm going to get these folded up, get this living room tidied up, and we'll be ready to go. I can't help but think, as I put my apron on and tie the strings, about how many times my Granny Reed probably made cinnamon bread and fresh bread and fried okra. Okay, so I'm going to start by getting me 2 cups of water, because the recipe that I'm going to use calls for buttermilk, and I don't have any liquid buttermilk on hand. I don't keep it because I don't use it enough to keep it. So I have this Hoosiers Farm powdered buttermilk, and it uses 3 tablespoons of the powder per 1 cup of water. So I'm going to mix my powder in with my water. So I've got 2 cups of water, so I'll use 6 cups of the powder and get it stirred up and let it sit for a little while, and then I will have my buttermilk that I will use for my recipe. And I ordered this online. I will see if I can find a link for it. I ordered it from Amazon, and I will put a link down below if I can find the link to it. You can buy buttermilk, you can buy powdered milk, you can buy butter powder, you can buy peanut butter powder. There's all different kinds of things that you can find that will store and be good for a lot longer than the ones you buy from the grocery store. Like this container of buttermilk powder that I have, it's good until July of 2026. I'm going to whisk all of this together and make sure that I don't have any lumps in there, because I want my powder to be completely dissolved in the water. And the longer it sits, the little thicker it will get. It'll be thick like buttermilk that you buy in a grocery store. So now I have my buttermilk that I will need for my recipe.
We're going to start out making our Amish cinnamon bread. So first thing we got to do is preheat our oven to 350 degrees. And mine all automatically defaults to 350 degrees, so we got that. So I'm going to put a screenshot up right here with the list of ingredients that you're going to need to make this on an Amish cinnamon bread. Okay, I've got my buttermilk thickening, because I use, instead of keeping buttermilk in the refrigerator, I use this stuff. So now we have our buttermilk all done. So now we're going to do 2 sticks of softened butter. And this is double of the recipe that I posted in the screenshot, because like I said, I'm making 2 batches. And what do we do with our butter wrappers? We grease our pans with them. Don't waste anything, grease your pans. And if you can't get your butter softened, just pop it in the microwave for about 10 seconds. It'll soften it up perfectly. So I'm going to grease my pans real good with that wrapper before I throw it in the garbage. Because you got to prepare your pans so that our bread don't stick. Okay, so I'm going to set them back here. Now that they're done, pop this in the garbage. wipe my hands off. Okay, so we got 1 stick of softened butter. So now we're going to do another stick of softened butter. Put that in there. And I'm going to put this aside because I'm not going to throw it away. I'm going to save it. Actually, I'm going to pop it in the fridge so it'll firm back up. Because you don't want to waste anything. With the cost of groceries nowadays, you don't want to waste anything. Y'all, if I look like I'm looking off to the left, I'm used to looking at my phone, so I'm trying to get used to looking at the screen on this. So, okay, we have our 2 sticks of butter. And now we're going to add 2 cups of white sugar. And my husband says you should know these recipes. Well, guess what? I'm 56 years old. I can't remember everything, so I have to refer back to my written recipes that I save in my notes on my phone or on my iPad. Anyway, we're going to put the 2 cups of white granulated sugar and we're going to cream that together. My handy dandy Pampered Chef. We'll get this cream together. It already smells good. I don't even have the cinnamon in it. Okay, so that's pretty well creamed together. So now we're going to put, I'm going to leave that right there. We're going to put our 2 eggs. And I always crack my eggs into a different container before I put it in my batter so that I don't get any shells in my batter. So, there's 1 egg. Move this over so y'all can see me cracking my eggs. So you just crack it into another bowl. And then that way, if you get shell in it, you can dig it out before you put it in your bowl. Otherwise, you got eggshell in your batter. So, let's put this behind me. I'll wipe my hands again. So we're going to cream this together now. And any bread that you make that has eggs in it is considered an enriched bread. Okay, so we got that creamed together. So now we're going to put our vanilla extract in it. And of course, you know, I'm going to use my homemade vanilla extract. And there's a video for this on my channel. I'll link it below if you want to make your own vanilla extract. Because I'm telling you, there's nothing like homemade vanilla extract. I made it for Christmas for my neighbors and they loved it. Absolutely loved it. Okay. So I got my handy dandy measuring and I need 2 teaspoons of vanilla. So I'm going to adjust this to teaspoon. So it shows teaspoon. Can't wait to smell this again, y'all. Oh, it smells so good. So we're going to do 1, 2. And if a little extra dribbles over in there, it ain't going to hurt nothing. It's not going to hurt nothing at all. Because you know vanilla is vanilla and it's good stuff. So put that aside. Okay. So now we're going to cream that together. Get a little bit of that off of there. Okay. So I'm going to take them off and I'm going to put them behind me. Okay. So now to that I'm going to add some cinnamon. Now, the recipe doesn't call for cinnamon to be added to this. It doesn't call until you do the topping. But it's a cinnamon bread, so I gotta have some cinnamon in this. So, And when it comes to cinnamon, I measure with my heart. I'm just going to give it a good shake. Okay, that looks good. So now, I'm going to mix this together. Oh, it smells amazing, y'all. Amazing. Okay. So now to this, let's put this out of the way, back here. I have since figured out that this baking island is not big enough for me when I do my baking videos. So I've got plans in the works for a different kind of island. So now I'm going to add my buttermilk. And now I'm going to stir this together. And you don't want to get in a hurry stirring this, because if you do, you'll slosh buttermilk all over everywhere. So just stir it easily. This is going to be so very good. Okay, I think I'm actually going to switch to my whisk. See if I can't get this whisk together better. Yeah, see, I didn't want to use my mixer because it just wouldn't work. I would have buttermilk everywhere. Okay. So that's probably as mixed as I'm going to get it right now. So now I'm going to set this aside and I'm going to get my bowl for my flour. So now we're going to measure out the 4 cups of flour, and I'm using self-rising flour. And you don't want to firmly pack it, just lightly pack it. And each one of these is a cup. So there's 1. I'm going to do 4 cups. 2. 3 and 4. Okay, so there's our 4 cups of flour. So to that we're going to add our baking soda and our salt. So we need, got our baking soda, and we're going to use 2 teaspoons of baking soda. You can use any kind of baking soda. I just used whatever was available because to me baking soda is baking soda. My oven's ready. Okay. Well, if I can get this baking soda open. Okay. So we're going to do 2 teaspoons of baking soda. Okay. So we got that. Now we're going to do 1 teaspoon of salt. And then remember, I'm making 2 loaves. So I've doubled the recipe. There's a 1 teaspoon of salt. Okay. And I'm going to add, yes, more cinnamon. I'm going to add a teaspoon of cinnamon. A heaping teaspoon. Cinnamon is my spice of choice. I love cinnamon. Can you tell? Okay, so we got our cinnamon. We got our baking soda. We got our salt. We got our flour. So we're going to just kind of mix them together. We'll get that baking soda and that cinnamon and that salt mixed in with that flour. Okay. So now we're going to add the wet ingredients to this. And don't be alarmed that it looks the butter looks a little clabbered because that's fine. That's the buttermilk doing that, and it's supposed to do that. Okay, so we got all that. So now we're just going to stir this together. Get it all combined because we're going to pour it into our pans. It smells heavenly, you guys. Let me move this out of the way. Okay, so this is what your batter is going to start to look like. We're going to stir it. Make sure we get all that flour. Make sure you stir it from the bottom because you're going to pull flour up from the bottom. Okay, so make sure you pull that up from the bottom. Get all of that flour mixed in with the wet ingredients. I haven't made this in years. It's been years. And I guess if you wanted to, you could add raisins to this. You could add walnuts to it. You could add whatever you want to it. I just make just plain cinnamon bread. Because this is going to make amazing toast, cinnamon toast for breakfast. Just pop it, slice it, pop it in the toaster, put some butter on it. Oh man, you talk about good. Okay, again, I'm pulling from the bottom because I still have flour on the bottom. So I'm making sure I'm scraping the bottom of my bowl because I don't want any dried flour coming off into my pans. This back down here out of the way. Into my pans when I pour it out. Okay. Okay, I think we're good. Okay, so we got that. So now we're going to make our topping because this is going to be inside different layers of this. So what we need for that is we need 2/3 cup of sugar and 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. I have to have another bowl for that. Okay. We'll set the flour aside. Bring our sugar and our cinnamon. Sugar! And my favorite spice, cinnamon. So we need 2/3 cup sugar. And my measuring thing is 1/3 of a cup. So I'm just going to do 2 of those. 1, 2. Okay. And then we're going to do 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. Just level. 1, 2. You know, if I get a little extra, oh well. So we'll put this out of the way. Put the sugar out of the way. Okay. And then I'm going to take a fork. And I'm going to just mix this together to get it combined. Get that sugar. So you're basically making cinnamon sugar. And you can actually do this, put this in a little shaker container, a little spice shaker, and you'll have cinnamon sugar. Take regular bread, toast it, put butter on it, sprinkle this on top of it. Good. It's always good to have on hand. Woo, look at that. Okay, that's what it's going to look like. Like I said, make sure you get it, you know, just like you're pulling the flour from the bottom of this, pull your sugar from the bottom. Get that all mixed together because you want it, because this is going to go between your loaves. Okay, so now I've got my 2 prepared pans. See, got them all buttered up. My Calphalon pans, I love my Calphalon pans. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this and I'm going to scoop out a cup into this one. And I'm going to spread it out. Actually, I think I'm going to do 2 cups. 2 cups. 2 cups in that, a cup in that one, a cup in that one, another cup. So really it's about 1.5 cups. And then I'm going to smooth this out into the pan. Cover the whole bottom of the pan. Get them kind of as even as I can. Same thing here. And now I am going to take a spoon, some of that on me, and I'm going to sprinkle this over my wet dough. Okay. Cover it really good. Man, that cinnamon smells so good. You don't want to use it all because you're going to sprinkle some over the top as well. But I want to get a good coating of this cinnamon sugar. Okay, so we're good there. So now I'm going to divide the rest of my batter between the two pans. So I don't need this cup anymore. This measuring cup. So I'm going to toss it into the sink. And I'm going to take what's left of my batter and I'm going to put half of it in this pan. And half of it in this pan. The other half of what's left. And I'm going to spread that out to kind of enclose the cinnamon sugar that we put on there already. Remember, we've got our oven preheating to 350 degrees, which mine's already preheated, and I can tell it because it's getting very warm in here. Okay, so now I'm going to wipe my hands and I'll be right back. Well, no, let's just go ahead and I think I can get this. How about if I just wipe my hands? Okay, so then we're going to take what's left of our cinnamon sugar and we're going to sprinkle it over the top of this. This is going to give it a sweet, crunchy top to the cinnamon bread. And it's going to make it smell delicious. But this is not the last step, though. This is not the last step. We're getting there. This is going to be amazing, you guys. And when you think you've got enough, whatever you have left over, just put it in a shaker. That's what I'm going to do with mine because I'm probably going to have some left over. Okay, yeah, I'm going to have a little bit left over, I think. Maybe not. Maybe I need to get some in there. Yeah. Okay. So, now we've got that. So now you need to take a knife, a butter knife, and you want to swirl that cinnamon like this. Okay, so there's that one. That's why a lot of times this is called cinnamon swirl bread. But it's going to mix that cinnamon. And some people only go once. I always go twice because I want it mixed together good. Okay. So there is our cinnamon. Good. Okay. So there are our Amish cinnamon loaves. So now we're going to put them into the oven for 45 to 50 minutes.
I apologize ahead of time. I somehow lost the audio on these video clips. So we're going to start making the dough for the bread. We have 6.5 cups of all-purpose flour. We have 2.5 cups of warm water, salt and yeast, 1.5 tablespoons of yeast, 1.5 tablespoons of salt. Then I have 1/4 cup of butter, unsalted butter, and then I have 1.5 tablespoons of yeast, and then I have 1/3 cup of sugar. I'm going to be using my stand mixer to put all of these ingredients together. I'm going to start by putting 3 cups of the flour into the stand mixer. And I'm just going to measure it out as I take it out and put 3 cups into the stand mixer. And I'm going to be using my dough hook because that way I don't have to do as much kneading as I would if I didn't have the dough hook. And your amount of flour that you use is going to depend greatly on how much moisture is in the air on the day that you make your bread. So I've got my flour in there. Now I'm going to add my salt and my yeast, and I'm using the instant yeast by Fleshman's. I'm not using, it's the Rapid Rise. And then I put my sugar in there, and I'm going to combine my dry ingredients before I put anything else in there. So make sure I've got everything out of there, and I'm just going to mix it together. I'm actually going to use my spatula to combine it. I don't have to proof this yeast because it's an instant rise yeast. So you don't have to proof it like you do on a regular active yeast. So I've got my dry ingredients all mixed together. So now I'm going to add my water and my butter, and I'm going to add a little bit at a time. You want to make sure your water is not hot, because if your water is above 120 degrees it will kill your yeast. So I'm going to slowly add some water and let that dough hook mix all my ingredients together. Now I'm going to add my softened butter. I have cut them into cubes, and I'm going to be adding a cube at a time, and I'm going to get all of this mixed together and get all of the water combined, and then I will have to let it sit for 10 minutes. I'm going to move you a little closer over here so you can see more of what I'm doing, so you can actually see the stand mixer. But I'm just going to drop my butter down in there and turn my speed up a little bit. And I guess I could have used my paddle for this, but then I didn't want to have to change the attachment, so I thought I'd just use my one attachment, my dough hook, for this. So I've got all my water in, and now I'm going to continue to add my butter and let it incorporate. And it's not going to get fully incorporated, but that warm water will help continue to soften that butter and mix it in. And then, like I said, once I get all of this combined, I will have to let it sit for 10 minutes. And I decided to stir this with my wooden spatula because the dough hook wasn't really getting it combined enough. I didn't feel for the yeast to activate, so that's why I went in with my spatula and hand stirred it, because I wanted to make sure it was all mixed together. And so that's why I went in with my spatula. And now that I've got it all mixed together, I will set a timer for 10 minutes, and then I will let it sit for that 10 minutes, and then after that we will add the remaining flour. Alright, so the 10 minutes has passed, so now I'm going to add my flour a little bit at a time until the dough completely pulls away from the side of the bowl. Again, I apologize for the vocals being messed up on this. If anyone can help me figure out why my camera filmed in slow-mo and then didn't have any vocals on it at all, no voice track, no audio track. If you know how to fix that, please drop me a line down in the comments and help me figure this out. This is not the first time this has happened to me, and I can't figure out what I'm doing wrong. But anyway, I'm going to continue to add the flour to this and get it mixed up. And then once we get it all mixed together and it starts pulling away from the bowl, then we will take it out, put it in an oiled bowl, and let it rise for about 45 to 60 minutes until it doubles in size. It's finally starting to pull away from the bowl and be all incorporated. I think I really need to get me a bigger mixer because this mixer moves so much when I'm trying to make bread. So I'm going to add a little bit of flour to my hands because it is still somewhat sticky, but I'm going to remove the attachment and then I'm just going to knead it a little bit while it is in the bowl and add a little bit more flour so that I can get it to the consistency that I need it to be so that I can transfer. It is done. Look how brown it is, and it looks so crispy on the top. So what I will do is I will take these out, set them on the oven, then I will get my toothpick and I will put a toothpick in the center of each loaf and make sure that it comes out clean so that I know that that Amish cinnamon bread is completely done. And it smells amazing. Yep, clean. And I always stick it in different places in my bread to make sure that it's completely done. So my Amish cinnamon bread is completely cooked. I'm going to let it cool in those pans for about 5 minutes. Look how delicious it is. Yeah, it sank in the middle a little bit. I'm not sure why, but every video that I've watched, everybody's bread looks the same. But look at that cinnamon and sugar on top of that bread. Doesn't it look just incredibly delicious? It smells so good. I can hardly wait for it to cool off so that I can transfer it to the cooling racks and slice it up and get me a bite of this delicious cinnamon bread. Okay, so it's been 5 minutes, so now we're going to transfer the bread to my cooling racks. And I can tell you, I already know that I need to buy some bigger cooling racks, because these are actually racks that go in my Instapot, you guys. But I use them to cool my bread every time I make bread. I don't know why I don't just buy a cooling rack. Because I had issues getting this out of the pan this time. So there we go. And I got to scoot it back over on the rack because it kind of missed the rack just a little bit. But there we go. We got that one. So now we're going to try the next one. Let's see if I have a better shot doing this one than I did the other one. Think I can get this one out without making a mess? Let's see. We got it centered. The handles are a little smaller on this one, so it might make it a little bit easier. So I will allow them to cool now, and then I will cut and have a bite of that a little bit later. But they came out cleanly. There was a little bit stuck on this one pan, but that's okay.
Okay, so it has risen and has doubled in size. So we're going to turn this out onto this mat I have. And we're going to knead this for about 5 to 8 minutes. Hey Google, set a timer for 7 minutes.
Okay, 7 minutes. Starting now.
Just going to continue to knead it. Work those glutens. Get those glutens working. It smells so good. So about 5 to 8 minutes. It's starting to stick a little bit, so I'm going to put a little flour down. Lightly dust my thing. And just keep going. And I'm probably only going to need mine for like 5 minutes. Because it was kneaded in the, maybe a little bit more because it's still a little sticky. I'm flinging dirt, or just dirt, I'm flinging flour everywhere. My flour flinger. So we're going to cut the dough in half now because we're making 2 loaves of dough. So we're still a little sticky on the inside. So we'll sprinkle a little bit more because now I'm going to flatten these out. Get some of the air out. Make them into a rectangle is what I'm going for. Okay, about like that. Then I'm going to fold it over. Fold it over. And I'm going to pinch the seams. I'm going to tuck this in. Pinch it, tuck this in, pinch it, and then it's ready for my pan, my prepared loaf pan. Now, we're going to do the same thing to this one. Spread it out. And you could roll it if you wanted to, but I'm just going to do it with my hands. Okay, press it flat. Pushing those air bubbles out. Okay, so now I'm going to do this one this way. Pull this one up this way. Pinch my seam. Turn this over. Pinch it. Turn this over and pinch it. And then it's ready for its pan. My prepared pan. Okay, so I got my bread in my pans. So now I'm gonna make sure they're even. Kind of spread them out, make sure they're even in the pan. Because now, hey Google, cancel the alarm. Okay, so now we're gonna let it do its second rise for about 30 to 45 minutes. I'm gonna put them back over here in my warm spot. Cover them, let them rise. Then they'll be ready to go into the oven. Okay, so it's been about an hour and our bread is over the top, just over the top of our loaf pans. So we're going to put this into a 350-degree oven for about 35 minutes and we'll check it after 35 minutes. Set our timer. All right, we'll be back in 35 minutes. Okay, we are now ready to take it out of the oven, the bread, and then we will brush it with butter and put it back into the oven for it to brown up. It smells so incredibly good. Look at that. Look at that. Okay. So now I'm just going to take some butter, run it over the top, let it melt into there. See how easy it is to make your own bread, and you know exactly what is in it, so you know exactly what you're giving your family. It's so easy to make bread. So easy. So I'm just going to rub this butter all over this. Let it so it can even run down the sides. Okay. So that's about a pat of butter. But did it really good. I buttered it up really good. You could melt it and brush it. I don't have a pastry brush, therefore that's why I'm doing it this way. I don't have a pastry brush, but either way, it all works the same way. Okay, so now we're gonna get them back into the oven for 1 minute so that it can finish browning the top of the bread. I'm actually going to set a timer for 2 minutes, I think. By then it should be done. Here is the product of my time today. 2 loaves of homemade sandwich bread. Does that not look delicious? 2 loaves of Amish cinnamon bread, one of which has been eaten, but I've got them wrapped in cling wrap. And these, I'm waiting for them to cool completely, which they feel like they've cooled, so I will wrap them in cling wrap. I will be going to Walmart to get me some bread bags, though. They actually sell bread and bread ties, bread bags and bread ties.
So there's the product. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope you have gained some inspiration from this. And I hope you'll get out there and make you some bread and make you some cinnamon bread. It is not hard at all to do. Again, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. And like I said, I hope you gained some inspiration. And no, you can make this bread. You can do this. Go out and make you some homemade bread and make you some homemade cinnamon bread. It's not hard. You can do this. I believe in you. So get out there and do this. And thank you to all of my subscribers and all of my viewers that support my channel. I appreciate it so much. If you're not subscribed, again, consider subscribing. Become my friend. Who knows, we may be BFFs in the end. Remember what I always say. Make sure you take time to go out and make those memories with the ones you love. God bless you, and I'll see you in the next video. I'm going to get out and enjoy the rest of my day. Bye.